incapable of raising their level of play. Listen to what he had to say.
We have no idea what this team can be of, and when you have Trev, who's just his second game back, no K-Nunn, I missed a bunch of games. Now AD's out, and a bunch of guys in protocol. Our head coach is out, so how can we really fully assess what we have? When we haven't been whole, I can't remember the last time we played the same starting lineup and had the same rotation coming off the bench. It's been a long time, so it's hard to assess that.
Hey, it's an honest assessment from LeBron. Broussard, I'll start with you. You agree with him that it's, quote, hard to assess the Lakers right now?
Jenna, some will look at what LeBron said as an excuse, but everything he said is actually right. I mean, there is no doubt about it. It's been a disjointed season for the Lakers. There are three big guys, LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook. Three guys that we knew would need major time on the court together to bring their games in sync with one another, have only played 15 games so far. They're 8-7 in those games. And here's a fun fact. LeBron, with all of his big threes that he's had, the guys in Miami, here's the graphic. Look at that. With Bosh and Wade, they were 9-6 in their first 15. Kyrie and Love, when LeBron in Cleveland, 8-7. And obviously here with the Lakers, 8-7. Now, the problem with this is, those two teams made the finals, by the way, the Cavs and the Heat, right? The problem is this, though. Yeah. That was a much younger LeBron, and that was LeBron at the peak of his powers. He's still playing great basketball, obviously putting up big numbers, but he's not at the peak of his powers as far as dominating and controlling the game like he used to. And here's the thing. What LeBron said is right, but that is now a part of who the Lakers are. LeBron himself has missed 78 games over the 3+ seasons he's been with the Lakers. 78. In his first 15 seasons, Nick, he missed 71 games total. So you can count on LeBron missing some games. AD, we know, has been injury prone throughout his career. Missed half the season, literally. 36 of the 72 games last year. And now he's already about to miss 4 to 6 weeks with this knee injury. So it's hard to see if the Lakers ever having like a really long stretch of a month and a half to 2 months where everybody's healthy and they're playing great going into the playoffs.
But so here's the reason it's more concerning, though, than just that, is it's not like last year where they could at least lean back on, well, before LeBron got hurt, we were the 1 seed, we were playing great, we were coming off a championship, where they knew that team, when healthy, was excellent. This team, when healthy, and you could argue they haven't really been fully healthy at any point this season, has only ever been mediocre. Here's the problem, Broussard, and I'll go back to you quickly here before Wildes jumps in. The Lakers made 3 big bets this offseason. The first bet was that Russell Westbrook will be able to transition into a third option on a great team, something he's never been before. Is that bet a winner or a loser? That will be determined exclusively by the postseason, how he plays, so put a question mark there. The second bet was that LeBron James in year 19 can still be a top 5 player. I think that bet right now is coming in as a yes. I think LeBron is he the best player in the league? No. Is he somewhere in that 4, 5, 6 range? I would argue yes. I think that's a check mark, yes. The third bet, and this is the most concerning one, is that Anthony Davis is going to be as good as, on the level of, the other 2 elite bigs in this league, Embiid and Jokic. And the answer to that is an overwhelming no. And he has not been that since the bubble. Now, this year, again, he was playing better than last year, but he's hurt. But now you're dealing with the injury, all that. So, they made 3 big bets. One's a question mark. LeBron's a yes. AD thus far has been a resounding no. They need them all to be yeses in order for this mismatched roster to be able to make the finals. And right now, those look like long shot bets, Broussard.
Yeah, and to illustrate your point about it looking like a long shot, all right, we know they've been banged up and injured, but really good teams play well through the injuries. I mean, we can look at it right now in the league. Phoenix was 5-2 without Devin Booker. Brooklyn last year, remember, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving going in and out of the lineup, and they finished with the second seed in the East. Golden State, obviously, 25-6 without Klay Thompson and James Wiseman. And Miami right now is 19-13, the 4 seed in the East. And Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler have each played fewer games than LeBron. So even though they haven't had time together, Wilds, you don't see a lot even when they are on the floor to make you think this is going to be a championship team.
So first of all, about why it's hard to assess the Lakers. It's a little bit of like, hey, Wilds, does your car go fast? Like, yeah, I think so, but it always has flat tires, so it's hard for me to assess. Like, well, that's probably is the assessment. You can't go if you got flat tires. But that's not what I'm here to discuss. I am here to discuss the most interesting 4-second snippet from last night's game, which was LeBron James entering the arena with a cigar. Now, some people dismissed this out of hand. They say, Wilds, no, you know what? It's just a pregame walk. Certainly, LeBron James doesn't mean anything to it. I vehemently disagree, Broussard. Vehemently. Everything LeBron does is intentional. What he says is intentional. What he wears is intentional. What he's carrying is intentional. Also, I've never seen this before in my life. Never. So if he came in with an armadillo on the leash, I would be like, that seems like it warrants analysis. I've never seen it before. So here's my quick analysis on LeBron entering the arena with a cigar. We think it's one of 3 things. First thing it could be is an ode to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan ended up stealing Red Auerbach's mantle of most famous NBA cigar smoker. But if it was going to be that, I felt like it would be a bigger cigar and he would have it lit. So I don't think it's that. Option number 2, Broussard. Perhaps it is an early celebration cigar where it's a shot across the bow like James Worthy in Lakers postgame, light it up, beat the Suns. Option number 3, and this is a Dusty special. It's a little Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson shout out that he wants all the smoke from the Suns. Remember, he had a little beef with Jay Crowder and the salsa dancing, talking trash to campaign on the bench. Maybe he wanted all the smoke. Either way, it was not successful. But what is your take on LeBron entering with a cigar pregame?
Well, first of all, Wiles, this is the second, I've never seen that before moment of LeBron's last few years. Remember, was it last year when he walked in with the wine? I know he was injured, but I've never seen somebody go to work with a glass of wine. Go to work, whatever your job is. I've never seen that.
Well,
all right, but so that's
don't
twice.
See me at 7:25.
But I dismiss your first 2 options. Possibly number 3, I want the smoke. Like you said, they've had issues with Phoenix, a rivalry somewhat. Okay, but I'm going to throw you a 4th option that I think it is. I think it's LeBron, like, everything is good. I got this. All right? The people are panicking. We're barely above 500, which they were entering the game. We're good. I got this. I'm relaxed. Y'all calm down. I think that's what he was saying. And you're right, Wiles. It wasn't random. It wasn't happenstance. He did it for whatever reason on purpose. It looked odd, Nick, though. What made it look even odder is that he's wearing a mask. Like, you ain't, when you smoking that bad boy, like, when you gonna get to do that?
On the drive-in. Hold on. Hey, Wilds, there are certain things.
Yeah.
If I wanted to know how to do, like, the exact perfect pompadour, I would go to you. There are certain things you should just direct at me as the resident cigar smoker on the show. Guys, listen, this is no psychoanalysis needed. LeBron likely smoking the cigar on the drive-in. It's probably an expensive cigar. doesn't want to waste it, wants it for after the game. As any cigar smoker knows, it's going to stink up. That's probably a $2,000 jacket. You want him to put it in the jacket, get the ash and all the nonsense? No, man, you got to hold it.
Of course I don't
you
want him to
carry
put it in
it,
the jacket.
set it by your locker.
Someone next
Yeah,
to
you
him
don't want
that's
to.
gonna
You don't
hold
put
it?
a half-smoked
can't drop
cigar
it in the trash?
in a pocket of a pants.
Give
No,
it
you're
to
not dropping it in the
someone?
trash. You're going to drop it.
Please.
You drop
Someone hold it.
$72 in
Put
the
it in a
trash,
Ziploc
Broussard.
bag.
LeBron's got money. He doesn't have Broussard
Oh,
money.
yeah.